Well, I will speak on two angles: legal angle, political angle, and if possible, emotional angle. First, the president has powers to declare emergency to restore security. That power we are not contesting is clear under Section 305. Whether there have been enabling environment that warrant the declaration is a subject of debate.
Yes.
But the president does not have power to suspend a democratically elected governor, deputy governor, and a democratically constituted House of Assembly, despite our differences. Neither does the president have powers to appoint an administrator. Listening to the president saying, I hereby appoint that, I say, where are you coming from? It's like somebody, because there's insecurity in the country, maybe somebody from the minute he takes over government and we're discussing on the legitimacy of it. And secondly, the president now went for that. Where he now, from nowhere, invoked a power that he does not have, to now usurp the powers of the National Assembly under Section 11 to make laws when the State Assembly breaks down and they cannot make laws. That Section 11 sub 4 said in a situation where the State Assembly cannot function, for whatever prevailing reason in that state, we make the law, we make the regulation. When the president now insulted us by bypassing that our constitutional power and then saying that the Federal Executive Council will ratify the resolutions made by the administrator. Who is the administrator? Is unknown to law. So how does he make regulation? And we're talking about the people of a state, a sovereign arm of the federating unit, not an arm of the federal government.
This proclamation is coming should come before the National Assembly. So what should we expect?
For me, I can only speak for myself. Of course, I will oppose it. I will oppose it because, one, the president have no powers to suspend a democratically elected leader from office. Even under that section that gives us power, under 11, to make laws for the governance of a state where the State Assembly cannot work, forbids us from removing the governor or the deputy governor. Because a governor holds a sacred sovereign mandate that comes directly from the people, that can only be taken by impeachment or incapacitations or death. The very moment, and again, remember in 2013, when President Governor-Ikenga declared emergency in Borno, Yoruba, and Adamawa, Tinubu was one of the people who vehemently resisted it and said that it is a dangerous trend that portends danger for democracy and that is diabolic. And because of that, he opposed it, even when the governors of that state, including his VP today, Shetima, was a governor of Borno State, he was in office. So we are saying that if you allow a president to wake up, a democratic president, who used to be a Democrat, suddenly inviting the military to take control of a government of a state undemocratically, because he declared an emergency. Okay, today, is there crisis in Rivers now? Are people dying on the street? Is there imminent danger? That we saw smokes from one pipeline that we didn't see whether it was broken. Was enough for Mr. President to rush to declare emergency? If the president wanted to be honest, he could have also told, when the governor called for a peace meeting, did those lawmakers come? No. When he went to present budget, did they open the gate? No. When he even wrote them for presentation today, did they open the gate? No. The president did not even mention those things in his speech. He was busy lambasting the governor, since the governor is an appointee of the federal government. So that makes us have this feeling, some of us in the opposition, that is biased. And that is why we are saying, it's very simple. There are certain things, if you remember the foundation of parliament all over the world, after the French Revolution in 1776 or thereabouts, that is about limiting the powers of the king that was in essence at that moment. That if that indeed is the power today, then there are some things we need to separate the issue. Section 305, powers of the president to declare emergency, not in that. But the president has no powers to suspend a democratically elected governor and deputy governor, and does not also have power to suspend a constitutional House of Assembly. I may not like that House of Assembly, but the president has no power to suspend them. And then the president does not have power to appoint a sole administrator. Neither does he have power to say that a democratically elected leader should be out of office for 6 months. Why 6 months? Is there war in that place? Is there bombing now going on now? So there was nothing that warranted it. Of course, he should head to court. I'm not going to speak for him. But some of us believe that it should not only be tested in court, and it should also be resisted. So, for me, there's no way, even with a gun on my head, that I will vote in support of that, because I can't defend it to my children that a democratic president will wake up and suspend a democratic governor and a democratic House of Assembly, appointed an administrator, and then go further to say that the powers to make regulation, he's not donating the power. Where did he get the power to donate? That the administrator will make regulation, and that the administrator will send the regulation to him, because he is the one that runs the Federal Executive Council. Then he will make veto or ratify the regulation. So why does this leave us as lawmakers? Under Section 11, If the state assembly cannot function as a result of crisis in that state assembly, the power to make laws for that state assembly reverts to National Assembly.
Now,
So there's no way I can vote. Hold on. There's no way I can vote that my power as a lawmaker to make regulation when the state assembly of a state is not functioning should be donated to the Federal Executive Council. So the president suspends a sitting governor in office, appoints an administrator, and then makes regulation for that state, and then oversights the administrator, and then National Assembly goes to sleep. I don't think I will vote for that. And that's why I'm speaking for myself, that I'm not going to vote for that. And I believe that any lover of democracy and constitutional governance would definitely not vote in support of that. This, yes, my offer peace, an opportunity for peace. Anything that will make peace to return to River State, we will support that. But at the same time, we cannot tie ourselves to lay the foundation for constitutional crisis in the country. In the long run, that anybody can suspend it, even the parliament can be suspended under one guise or the other. So the limitation, there must be limitations. And that is why I said the condition, nobody can take control of any section of this country, any government of this country without the democratically conditions spelled out in the constitution. So if you look at the provision in section 11, that power to make regulation or make laws where a state assembly is not working rests with the National Assembly. If you also look at section 305, there is no place where he gathers the power for him to go and then remove a sitting governor, appoint a administrator, and then make regulation for that state.
Now, how do you explain the fact that the leadership of the National Assembly was at that meeting where that decision was taken?
That is why I said parliamentary business, consultation is allowed. So if he consulted some people, fine and good. It's good that he consults. So when you finish consulting, they will brief for. That is why if you go to our rule book, before emergency declarations can be considered, we go into executive session. So I believe that whatever that must have discussed in that their consultation, when we go into executive session tomorrow, they will brief us on what he told them, so we can see from their own angle. So when we are seeing from the angle of the leadership, we merge it with the provisions of the constitution. Bear it in mind that before you can make that consideration, the parliament must be properly constituted with two-thirds majority, which is about 240 something or thereabout. Anything below that will be like a queue. It will not work. So when we listen to the consultation that have happened, then we match it with the constitutional provision. Vis-a-vis, should we donate our powers as lawmakers to the Federal Executive Council? Because there's principle of separation of power. You have sacked, you have suspended something you don't have power to suspend. Are you getting me? Now you are saying that you will you will review the regulations and pass it. So where does that leave us as representatives of the people? Section 11 was very clear that if the House of Assembly cannot work, it has broken down that there's insecurity, crisis, emergency rule, we make regulation. That's why you have principles of checks and balances. But he is saying now that the regulations will be sent to him, the man who suspended, and then he will approve it for the people of Rivers State. I think that that is unknown to our constitutional provision. It has never happened, but the last time it happened under Obasanjo, the Supreme Court set it aside. And that is why when Jonathan now declared it, when he was in opposition, he left the executive officers to be in there, even when there is total breakdown of some of those local governments that have been taken over. This one, there's no crisis at all. Oh. There's tension that is brewing. There's just tension. There has not been, killing and burning of things all over. Just one pipeline that we didn't even see whether it was actually broken. So we don't even know who did that. So there's nothing. Is the situation right for it? No. But if this can lead to peace, fine and good. But then it must be done in accordance with the provision of the law, which means you remove the issue of suspending an elected officer. You remove the issue of usurping the powers of parliament to make regulations and make laws in a situation where the state assembly cannot function, and then do it the right way. Because I remember he said in 2013 that this is a dangerous trend that portends great danger to constitutional governance, and that it is diabolic. That is what Tinubu said in 2013 when Jonathan declared the emergency in Yobe and Brunei. In that one, he did not even remove the governors, but the president then called it a diabolic decision. So we believe strongly that now that this decision is unfair, is unconstitutional, and that we are not contesting your powers to declare emergency, even though it is subject of debate now that what has happened in River, does it warrant an emergency? But let's say you, because of assumption and tension, you feel it should be declared. But where did you not get the power to suspend a democratically elected officer, a deputy governor, a governor, and a state assembly? Like I told you, I may not like the state assembly, but you don't have power to suspend them. The very moment you start suspending legitimate arms of government, somebody can come on and suspend you, the president. So if tomorrow somebody comes and says you're no longer the president, should we support the person because there's breakdown of law and order in Nigeria? It is wrong. There's provision laid down in the constitution. So we feel the president overreacted on the issue because, and in all that he said, he didn't even condemn his minister. So was Fubara fighting alone? Was he fighting himself? There was a fight between him and Wike. In all the threats Wike was issuing, the tensions was brewing in every part of Nigeria. Did the president not mention it? He didn't mention it, which makes some of us in the position to feel that, are you biased? because you couldn't even mention him or condemn him. You left him in his office, and then you are condemning a governor who doesn't even have power. Because to maintain pipeline requires issues of security, which the president is the commander. So it's the president's responsibility. If that pipe is broken, he failed. It's not the governor, because the governor doesn't have power to command the security. After all, you people have even seized the allocation of the state. You don't even have money to function. So he's managing to run the state. So that's why I feel that this whole thing, this country is not supposed to, after almost over 50, 60 years, go back to a place where a president will solve. So remember, the states are federating states in the federation. They are not an arm of the federal government. So they are part of the federation, and that's why I feel strongly that he overreacted, and that should be addressed.
Thank you, sir.